Welcome back to the channel. In a slightly different scene here. It's literally about 2 feet away from where I usually film. I just thought I'd put the white wall behind me this time, maybe a bit better for the video. A little while ago, I made a video basically ranking martial arts, in my opinion, on Street Fight, on what would be best for the street. And I got absolutely ripped apart for it. So today, I'm going to be on the giving end of the ripping apart, maybe. I'm going to be looking on TikTok, and I'm going to be reacting or reviewing some other people's martial arts tier lists and see if everyone had the right to come at me for it when we see what everyone else is saying as well. One thing everyone does have the right to do is get flexible and get better kicks. And the best method to do that, to improve your flexibility, to improve your kicks, is my own flexibility program. Go to the first link in the description of this video if you are interested. 12 weeks, that's it. All you got to do is follow it. Let me know how you get on with it if you do get it. I asked for lots of ranking videos, martial arts ranking videos, to be sent to me on TikTok. So I have loads here, basically. I'm going to scroll through them and I'm going to react and see what we think of it. So let's see this. Martial arts ranked by effectiveness. We've got Aikido at number 1. I want whatever this guy's smoking, to be honest. Boxing number 2. I'm only joking. Maybe he's trained some style of Aikido that I don't know about that really is effective. I mean, it says effectiveness, so technically I can't say anything there because it could be like effectiveness at looking good or effectiveness at enjoyment factor, you know? So he's got, I think that's probably rage bait, to be honest. He's put Aikido at the top. He's got boxing number 2. Which I do agree with. I ranked boxing really highly in my video as well. In my opinion, being able to throw hands is the most important thing in a street situation. Or, I mean, this video is not necessarily revolved around the street, but I'm assuming that's what it is if it's, you know, martial arts. But being in the street, all fights, 99% of fights are going to start standing up. If you can throw a good punch, you can deal enough damage to get yourself away out of the situation. So that's why I think boxing is the most efficient way, martial art, to learn for the street. And then one below that at number 3, we've got Muay Thai. Again, I can understand why that's so high. Muay Thai has got all the skills that you would need in a street situation, including the elbows, which are obviously very effective. If someone's coming up to you wanting to start something and they get a bit close, they grab you or something, one elbow is going to absolutely probably knock them out. Probably the most efficient way to knock someone out, in my opinion, would be an elbow, because the elbow point is so hard. And it just doesn't really hurt when you hit something. You could hit someone full force. It wouldn't hurt you. Crack. You break in someone's face. And then after Muay Thai, we have wrestling. Again, I can understand. And after Muay Thai, we have wrestling. Again, yep, wrestling is good. You can take someone down. You know, you can restrain someone on the floor as well with that. So I can see why that's so high as well. Next up, BJJ. That's like number 5, so halfway down. I can understand that. I can respect that, because obviously if someone gets close enough to you to grapple you, someone who knows BJJ, it's over. Like, BJJ is obviously, you know, one of, if not the most efficient grappling art. So they dominate in that realm. I would say it's correct to be about number 5, because obviously most fights are not going to start at that range. So you would have to get someone into that range first before you can use that. But it's also on the ground as well. You'd have to take someone down, and then your BJJ becomes at its most effective. So I agree with it being sort of halfway down the list there. And then number 6, we've got karate. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Personally, I'd probably put it a bit higher, but again, I do karate, so that's probably quite biased. So it's fair enough. We put it at 6. 7, Sanda. 8, judo. I disagree quite heavily with putting judo at number 8. I disagree a lot there. I also said this in my ranking video. Judo should be right up the top, because again, yes, they don't train striking, they don't punch, but if someone comes at you and gets close enough, a bit like BJJ, but unlike BJJ, you don't need to be on the floor for judo to be at its most effective. All you need is for someone to come close enough so you can get a good grip of them. And you know, when you throw someone onto concrete, and it's hard to recover from that. You know, they're going to be a bit dazed, and you can obviously throw them and land on them as well and like restrain them. So judo, in my opinion, is way up there. I disagree with judo being so low. Taekwondo really low down there at number 9. Again, I think Taekwondo is quite misjudged, maybe even more so than karate, because when you look at Taekwondo in the Olympics, yes, it doesn't look like the most effective combat art. But if you go back to the roots of Taekwondo, it is really solid art. I mean, you look back at sort of Olympic Taekwondo even 10 years ago, it's before it slightly went down a different route. It was still, you know, brutal. You would win if you knock someone out. And that's obviously WTF Taekwondo. If you go to ITF Taekwondo, they include punches quite a bit. It's a bit more like kickboxing. So Taekwondo is quite underrated, I think, in my opinion. I mean, all the Taekwondo athletes I've trained with have kicked really hard and have been very skilled combat martial artists. So I feel like Taekwondo is underrated. Krav Maga, I can get behind it being down there. I can get behind Krav Maga being at F. Again, I've explained this before, but Krav Maga, in my opinion, utilizes too many like unrealistic, small, little intricate locks and stuff like that. You know, stuff that is good for demonstrations, but maybe not so effective. I'm not saying all of it doesn't work. Some of it can definitely be applied for sure. I've seen videos of it where I definitely agreed with it, but I can get behind that list. Anyway, I've just spent like 20 minutes on the first video. I've got loads here, so let's move on. Martial arts tier lists. F tier, Seeing Red. That's been promoted to a martial art, Seeing Red. It's been utilised so much in this day and age that, especially by the keyboard warriors in the comment sections, it's now an official martial art. Promote it. Give it a belt system. E tier, Russian slaps. I've never seen that included in a martial art tier list. Not particularly useful in a fight, but at least it makes you more durable. I guess it does. You've seen some of the way those guys slap each other and they come back. D tier, we've got Wing Chun. Yeah, I can agree with that. It says here a lot of its moves aren't useful, but it does have some good punches and combinations. Yeah, I agree. Sambo, C tier. Sambo, I didn't know much about Sambo, but apparently it's the art that Khabib trained growing up. So then obviously that gives it a lot more aura. Arnis. I've not heard much about this art at all. Uses weapons like sticks. I disagree with it being at B tier though, because it says very realistic, but is it realistic that you're going to be carrying around a weapon in the street, like a stick in the street? Not really. I mean, some people might, but in my opinion, the most effective arts in terms of like self-defense and stuff are going to be the ones that you don't have to have weapons to be good at, you know? A tier, we got Krav Maga, teaches realistic scenarios such as fighting against weapons, designed specifically for street self-defense. Again, this one's a bit hazy, a bit misty, because some of it's good, some of it's not so good. So some of it I can see being up sort of A tier, but I personally wouldn't put it so high, but I can see why it's there. S tier, chess boxing, blimey. Now that is going to protect you in the street, because whenever you come up in a street altercation, someone sets the board down and have a quick chess game before you have a scrap. So next, martial arts ranking. Oh, we got one of these icebergs. I'm pausing this video, by the way, because I don't want the songs to copyright the video, because that has happened before. So I'm trying to pause it before the song is played. Karate PSHT. What on earth is PSHT? Anyway, PSHT, whatever that is, and Taekwondo. So I'm assuming that's the worst up the top. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty standard I'm kind of expecting to see that a lot today. Then we've got judo and kickboxing. Again, judo slander. Judo is too high. You need to get judo down in the good leagues, because judo is underrated, is overlooked as well. Then we've got wrestling and kung fu. Again, kung fu maybe placed a little bit. Kung fu being put above judo is a hot take, by the way. Brazilian jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. I can see Muay Thai, yeah. BJJ again. Bit of a hot take putting it like all the way up there above all these other ones that it's been put above, because obviously, yeah, like I said earlier, you sort of have to get to the ground for it to be used at its peak. So, and then at the bottom we've got MMA and boxing. Obviously MMA, yeah, I mean, I would agree at the top there, at the bottom, sorry. So the best line is MMA and boxing. I would agree with that. Again, boxing, like I explained before, and MMA, you just utilize everything in your training. So MMA obviously is going to be good for a real life situation.
Ranking the top 5
Here we go.
martial arts styles, in my opinion.
Ranking the top 5.
I'm going to have to go kickboxing,
Okay, kickboxing number 5.
I just believe it's more of a point style type of fight.
Has he only seen like point kickboxing? Because in my opinion, kickboxing is way more of a full contact sport than but more of a full contact art than it is point scoring art. Like when people say point scoring combat sports, kickboxing is not one that comes up to mind. I know that is a thing, but it's funny that he's mentioned that under kickboxing, because, you know, surely you've seen, you know, like One Championship or Glory, like surely you would have seen that stuff.
Judging, and, you know, just the kicking, like, you don't even really have to kick someone way too hard to get a point, and there's just lots of bias that goes into that. So
you could sort of say that about everything. There's bias in boxing as well. You know, and people that shouldn't win sometimes get the win in boxing or in any other combat sport, really. So I don't really know. I don't really agree with that one.
I'm ready to get a ton of hate for this
Here we go.
I'm going to have to go Muay Thai.
Okay.
Now, I do
Explain
believe
yourself.
Muay Thai is one of the most deadly and vicious martial arts in the world. Huge respect to anyone.
I guess we got to give him a little bit of credit if you look at those ears. You know, if you like, he gains aura points for having cauliflower ear there, but see what he says about Muay Thai.
Who does it professionally, using your elbows, your knees,
Yep.
your Muay Thai clinch,
Yep.
just all over savagery. I just feel like it's very one-dimensional, and I feel like the other disciplines I have in my list are going to be better.
Okay.
And number 3,
to be fair, he didn't actually give much explanation as to why Muay Thai was so low there. He just said that other disciplines are going to be better. So we'll see what he says. I'm trying to listen to him, because those cauliflower ears tell me that he does know how to fight, but we'll see.
Boxing, okay? Now,
boxing number 3, that's too low.
I have a little bit of bias because I competed in boxing
too low.
my whole life, But I do believe
This guy, in fact, obviously I know what he's going to do. Look at his ears. He's going to put the top two are going to be like wrestling and BJJ, definitely. 100. I haven't seen this video, but 100% is going to be two grappling arts. So he's going to have a bit of bias here, which is natural. I understand because I personally have bias towards karate, so understand it.
you have enough speed, power, and just being able to use your hands, move your feet, create angles, having great hands in general, even without kicking, you're going to beat a lot of
Yeah, I agree with that.
Coming in on number 2,
wrestling.
I'm going to have to go jiu-jitsu.
Okay, jiu-jitsu, that's what I said. Okay, number 1, he's going to put wrestling or judo. No, I'm going to say he's going to say wrestling. Yeah.
Had a hard time putting boxing or jiu-jitsu in number 2. Either one I was going to be able to switch out. I do feel like jiu-jitsu is just a very beneficial sport just in general.
Yeah.
Just to have it in your back pocket.
Oh no, I 100% agree with him there. Like jiu-jitsu is definitely very very good to have. So if you do boxing and jiu-jitsu, for example, that's obviously a really good combination. I've actually changed my mind. I think he's going to say MMA for number 1 because I don't know whether he counts, because some people, I mean, I would say MMA itself is not an art, like a martial art. It's MMA is mixed martial arts. It's a combination of all of them, but some people do it in these lists. So I can't remember if I think I did include it in my list. So I think he'll say MMA or wrestling.
Get someone down the ground and choke them out. It is honestly like so deadly, and if you just
it's deadly for sure.
It might even save your life.
For sure.
Number 2, I'm going.
I agree.
And coming in at number 1, I'm going with wrestling. Okay.
Oh, I knew it. Oh, take one look at him. I knew what were going to be number 1 and 2.
Wrestling is one of the most disciplined, hard-working sport in the world, and I feel like
yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. I would say to what he said there is one of the most hard-working sports. That's like pretty subjective because it's basically everyone's different. Like someone could work just as hard in boxing as they do in wrestling, and something like boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu can be just as disciplined as wrestling. So I don't really understand when people say, "Oh, wrestling people train the hardest." It's like everyone probably trains equally hard for the most part. But let's have a look at his list. So kickboxing, Muay Thai. I mean, you can tell he's a grappler by looking at his list. I would say definitely wrestling is 100% up there. I agree with what you're saying about wrestling. It's like obviously good to have. You learn how to take down from a distance as well. So, and which all fights in the street generally would start from a distance. Boxing I think is too low. I think if he had taken boxing, put that number 1, and moved everything else down, I could definitely get behind this list 100%. So I think he's got it. He's on the right lines, in my opinion. Anyway, obviously this is his opinion, so it's all subjective. So it's fair enough. I think that's a fair list. Martial arts tier lists. F tier self-defense classes. Yeah, I personally think these are a load of cobblers. These is a load of rubbish. Okay, maybe that was a bit mean. I'll take that back. But my advice to you, if you don't train and you're looking for something to help you with self-defense, don't go to classes that say self-defense classes that don't specify what they teach. More likely than not, this is just people doing it for sort of money purposes who haven't actually trained, and they think they know a few good techniques that will help you out in the street. But if you want self-defense, join a boxing gym or a kickboxing gym or a martial arts club. You don't have to fight. You don't have to train to fight. You can still do it just for self-defense and just for fun, but learning to box will be always more effective than learning self-defense classes. E tier, street fighting and owning a gun. Yeah, not much you can say about that. I mean, yeah, I guess depends where you are. If you're in America, then owning a gun is pretty standard, I guess. D tier, we got Kung Fu and Aikido. Yeah, I guess that would make sense for self-defense purposes. C tier, wrestling and Taekwondo. Okay. B tier, boxing and karate. That's probably the highest we've seen karate being put today. Been put on the same lines as boxing as well. That's a compliment. I'll take that. A tier, boxing and BJJ. S tier, Muay Thai and MMA. Yeah, that's a pretty solid list, I'd say, to be honest. Obviously, in every list they're going to have slight differences, but MMA and Muay Thai being number 1, I can get behind that. I can absolutely see why both of these arts would be seen as like the best for self-defense, 100%. A tier, kickboxing and BJJ, again, can get behind that. B tier, boxing and karate, again, boxing, in my opinion, should be higher, should be number 1. Karate, again, yeah, karate being put in B tier, I can see that as well. That's a pretty solid list. I'd say that's a pretty solid list. Wrestling and Taekwondo, fairly low down. Kung Fu and Aikido, I can agree with that being down there. Yeah, I think this is a pretty fair list. Top 10 martial arts with most aura. Kendo. Okay. Sambo. That has aura, because like I said before, I didn't realise that Khabib trained this. So for me, that has given Sambo a lot more aura. Taekwondo. Old school Taekwondo has a lot of aura. I think that should be higher up on the list. If we're going like old school, like KO style Taekwondo, that's got aura. The kicks that some of those guys pull out, unreal. Pancration. So I don't know what. I'm not quite sure what that is. That's some ancient art. I've never seen that before. Wrestling, yeah. Kung Fu. Kung Fu's got aura, mainly from the movies, I think, because a lot of movies portray Kung Fu. I feel like, yeah, that's fair. BJJ, I wouldn't put it that high on the list of aura, in my opinion. Shotokan Karate, that's very niche to put the specific style of karate as well. Again, Shotokan Karate, in my opinion, might be a bit high on this list because I don't think that particularly has much aura. Like, I guess karate does have aura, but to narrow it down to just Shotokan, I'm not complaining because that's what I do. But 2, boxing, yeah, boxing has major aura. Muay Thai, yeah, I'd say Muay Thai has the most aura. Because if you look at in any comment section, if you ask anyone what's the most effective, deadly martial art, everyone would say Muay Thai. Maybe some of it's like because people are sheep and they see whatever everyone else says, but for the most part, Muay Thai does just have the most aura. I would say definitely. Like you look at Rodtang, like that is the personification of aura, that man. The Iron Man. Yeah, I agree with that list. Top 5 martial arts for a street fight. Number 5, boxing. Way too low. Number 4, karate. Fair, I guess. Number 3, BJJ. Low key, switch BJJ and karate. Low key. Number 2, Muay Thai. Oh, what's he put at number 1 then? Okay, yeah, I forgot about MMA. Yeah, MMA. I can see why that's number 1. Muay Thai, yep, up there. BJJ and karate. Just switch those around, just to make me happy.
Top 5 best martial arts in a street fight.
Let's see.
And number 1 beats them all.
All right, let's see.
Number 5, we have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
If you end up on the floor with one of these guys, it's game over
Facts.
for you. These
Absolute facts.
specialize in chokes and snapping limbs. And the only reason
Definitely, if you end up, like you said,
is because it's
if you end up in that situation on the floor with one of those guys, yeah, you are cooked.
purely ground game. And in a street fight, you don't always want to go to the ground. In number 4, we have boxing. Most street fights, people just end
know what
up
I'm gonna
throwing
say?
fists. And these lot specialize in that.
Yeah, see what he just said there, in my opinion, I don't know why he's put it so low, because most street fights do just start by throwing fists, so why wouldn't boxing be up the top?
You get into a fist fight with a boxer,
I'm glazing boxing so hard this video.
chances are you're getting knocked
Yeah,
out.
facts.
Number 3 is kickboxing. This
Interesting
has
that he's put
everything
kickboxing
that
above boxing.
has, along with kicks and knees. These lot will
Yeah, see what he's saying there, he says kickboxing is basically boxing, but with kicks and knees, which is true, technically. But a kickboxer, if you put a professional kickboxer and a professional boxer in a boxing match only, the boxer will probably rip the kickboxer apart because they specialize just in punches. They don't have to think about kicks. So their punches are like a lot more efficient. They've fine-tuned them just that little bit more to give them the edge. So that's why I would personally put boxing above kickboxing in a street situation, because it's just more efficient. Because I personally, even though I do karate, which is obviously has a lot of kicks, I personally wouldn't kick in the street. That's why I think boxing is the best.
boot you in the head and kick out your legs, and you probably won't even get close enough to land a punch. Number 2
Okay.
is wrestling.
Wrestling, he's put
These
wrestling
guys
quite high.
specialize in taking people down. Most
They do specialise in taking people down, and that is useful. But ideally, on the street, you wouldn't really want to go to the floor because you could just end up hurting yourself. If it's concrete, you slam someone on the ground, you might slam yourself. Slam your knee. When you hit that like awkward funny bone in your knee or on your elbow or something, and then your just arm can't move for a couple seconds, and then it's like it's good. It would work, but in my opinion, maybe not the best thing for the street.
People don't even know how to defend takedowns, and once you end up pinned to the ground by a wrestler, it's game over for
Yeah,
you. And number
facts.
1, the best martial art for a street fight has to be Muay Thai. With elbows, kicks, knees, punches, and clinching, these guys are some of the most tough and violent fighters on the planet. With shins of steel, you get picked apart and absolutely...
Yeah, no, I can back Muay Thai at number 1 for sure, but I think wrestling is maybe a little bit too high. But also, this guy seems to be talking like it's going to be an organised fight with rules. He's saying things like, "Oh, you'll get picked apart by these guys," and the shins of steel. Realistically, in a street fight, you're probably not going to be kicking. Maybe like a low kick or a front kick or something simple, but this is not like an organised fight where you're strategically like moving around and picking them off and stuff. That's in the street. That's not how it works. Someone's going to come up to you. They're going to push you, grab you, punch you. You're going to have to hit as hard as you can, as fast as you can, and get out of there. It's going to be a one punch and done, which is why I think boxing is the best. And on that note, I'm going to end it. I think I've said my piece. I've said my piece about a million times. I've glazed boxing so hard I need to stop talking about it for the next 3 weeks till Aura Farm again. But yeah, that was me reacting to some martial arts tier list on TikTok. Let me know if you did enjoy it. Let me know if you'd like to see me do stuff like this in the future. And again, go to the first link in the description of this video if you are interested in improving your kicks and getting your flexibility to the next level. Let me know if you did agree with me with what I said in the video. Be nice, because I know sometimes the keyboard warrior community can get pretty menacing. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.